So here we are in July, suffering with the exact same issue we had last month. Too many damn good games to play with way too little time. So we're going to be taking a look at a few of the games that I have on my roster, and hopefully we can decide on a few to play before the end of July. Let's dive right in. First up, a game that I don't think needs much of an introduction, a fan favorite in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Black Flag Resynced, launches on the 9th of July and comes packed with updates to combat, traversal mechanics, exploration, and of course a juicy graphics overhaul. I never actually played the original Black Flag, but recently by playing through Windrose, I was constantly reminded by my community that I need to check out Resynced. And also apparently the sea shanties are pretty damn good, so I might just be sold on that, to be honest. With regards to gameplay, the focus seems to be heavily weighted on improving the two core mechanics, that being the way we traverse all available environments, as well as core combat mechanics. Looking at traversal, Resynced has added scalable flora and fauna, making it easier to maintain momentum while exploring the jungle-like environments in the Caribbean. Combat comes with the great options of different melee weapons and pistols, as well as a much improved enemy AI, which will make combat more intense and enjoyable over a full playthrough. Black Flag Resynced will launch on the 9th of July at a price of around $60 and will be on PlayStation, PC, as well as Xbox. Next up, we have Sword Art Online's Echoes of Aincrad. From a distance, this looks like an anime MMORPG, but it is a completely single-player game with AI combatants as your party members. The visual style is completely based off Sword Art Online, so you can understand the heavy anime look and feel. The game is not open world as you might have expected, but rather separated into separate zones, which vary drastically from grassland to desert biomes, and you traverse to these zones via what looked like levels in a castle, which I kind of found very interesting. At the moment, this does look completely single player with no announcement of multiplayer or co-op coming in the future. The main pull here for me is the story, and honestly it seems quite in-depth with good deep narrative for each of the characters and might even draw me to actually watch the anime. Although with the game coming in at $70, this might be something that I put on the wish list, not something that needs to be rushed to played, but does look like a pretty fun experience in the long term. Echoes of Aincrad launches on the 10th of July and will be available on PC as well as PlayStation. Now this looks pretty damn interesting. If you love HP Lovecraft and co-op extraction games, then the Mound is definitely for you. So basically, think Ark Raiders, but with creepy monsters running around in a horror-filled environment that constantly tests your mental resilience as you search for something called the Mound. What I really like about this game is the concept around sanity, and as you slowly kind of descend into madness, the deeper you head into the environment. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. So basically, as you progress and your sanity begins to drop, you'll begin to experience sensory illusions affecting your hearing and vision. On top of that, group players will be affected differently, so you might see or hear something that isn't experienced by someone else or vice versa. And this is where the importance of communication seems to come in, as you might not be aware of imminent danger, such as a trap or a monster disguising itself as one of your allies. Comms will work via a proximity system, which in my opinion greatly increases the immersion, especially within like a horror environment. Your home base is based on a ship with a bunch of NPC crew members offering quests, upgrades, and shops which are accessible between each extraction run. You can play completely solo or with AI party members, but something like this, to be honest, I feel really speaks to being a multiplayer game, obviously with the horror element being a huge part of it. Big bonus, if you're on PC, you can actually download the demo on Steam, so go ahead, if this interests you, give it a test run before launch day. The Mound will be priced at around $30 and launches on the 15th of July on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. The fourth game on our list is Tears of Metal, an indie action roguelike hack and slash where you can play solo or in 4-player co-op as you fight alongside your Scottish battalion to reclaim your island from hordes of enemies. This might sound a little crazy, but honestly, it feels like or looks like Torchlight and Dynasty Warriors had a baby, at least when you're looking at the visual style and combat. For the main premise, you'll be moving through a proverbial map of your island, where you'll be moving from zone to zone, reclaiming your land from foreign invaders. At first glance, it actually looks very similar to kind of endgame mapping in PoE, just obviously a very different art style. Each zone you visit looks very different, with unique enemies and rewards. The combat experience, as mentioned, feels like a lot like Dynasty Warriors. You'll find yourself just smashing through hordes of enemies with devastating abilities. We get a selection of unique characters to pick from, as well as discovering over 100 unique artifacts to create unique and distinctive builds. In between campaigns, we get to expand a settlement and recruit fellow soldiers. Settlements give us access to new shops to buy permanent upgrades, as well as unlock difficult challenges for greater rewards. Your soldiers gain permanent skills between campaigns, and you'll want to recruit and upgrade them as they become very useful in battles. Tears of Metal will launch on the 22nd of July on PC and PlayStation and will cost you around $25. Now this is one that I have been looking forward to and is pretty wacky but looks damn awesome. Dinoblade is a Souls-like action RPG set in a prehistoric world that has been severely affected by a cataclysmic event that redefined the very nature of dinosaurs. You'll be playing as a Spinosaurus, wielding a colossal greatsword as you take on rival dinosaurs, some armed with brutal weapons of their own, in a desperate fight to prevent your species' extinction. We'll explore a massive world containing some epic biomes from dry canyons to dense jungles. Additionally, each biome is ruled by a unique and ferocious alpha, an apex predator who stands in the way of your progress. Like most Souls-likes, combat will include chaining together powerful combos, timing your dodges, your rolls, your parries, as well as discovering epic weapons in each of these biomes. What I'm pretty excited for is that finishing the game will also unlock kind of a boss rush mode, allowing you to take on the alphas at the end of the game, a feature that I still wish was available in something like Elden Ring. At first, I understand this does sound a little bit wacky, but if you are on PC, you can actually grab the demo on Steam, another game that you can test out before launch. Dinoblade will launch on PC on the 23rd of July, and currently there is no price available, but I will drop that in the comments as soon as we have more information. From a Souls-like built around dinosaurs to something a little bit more familiar to the genre, we have Mistfall Hunter. The story is kind of based around your gods falling to a calamity, and now there's a phenomenon called the Gilden Mist, which is taking over and consuming your world. You were revived by a girl named Dew, and then thrust into a pretty bleak world to scavenge, fight, and extract in a cycle of PvP, VE based gameplay. It's essentially a Souls-like combat system with the extraction system used as the core progression mechanic. Combat does look a little bit slower than your usual ARPG, with animation locks kind of dictating how you'll approach certain instances of combat. Your main goal seems to be to harvest the resource called Gilden Blood, as well as Forgotten Relics. Each extraction run will serve as a battleground for melee skirmishes against some nasty minor and boss level creatures, as well as dealing with rival players or guild hunters as you're called. When extracting, you'll be forced into a boss fight, which also alerts other players to your location, so along the lines of Arc Raiders there. This will create either a cooperative extraction scenario or force you to deal with a possible third party before cleaning up the final boss. I'm curious to see how players respond to this. I feel like we're going to be seeing a few salty clips on the internet on launch day and the weeks after, that is for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. In combat, you utilize a precision-free aim system that allows you to target your enemy's weak points while enjoying the feel of meaty melee combat and magical arts. We'll get the option to pick 6 distinct classes, each offering 2 unique weapon stances, and you'll be able to quickly swap between stances to better manage specific combat scenarios. We will also be able to customize our class with expansive talent trees, as well as tailoring each loadout with rare gem affixes and a bunch of active skills. You can go in solo or in a third-party team, but it is recommended to play in a group for the best experience, for sure. I feel like these just lead towards playing with your mates. A huge claim here, which gets me very excited, is that they specifically state that there will be absolutely zero pay-to-win options in the game. Your personal character growth is purely done through gameplay, and I absolutely love that information. There is no distinct price listed at the moment for Mistfall Hunter, so we don't want to speculate too much, but it will launch on the 30th of July on PC, PlayStation, as well as Xbox. Since the launch of Street Fighter 6, I've been absolutely loving 2D fighting games, and for this month, we've got the launch of Avatar Legends. The game includes hand-drawn 2D animation, faithfully bringing characters from the Avatar Last Airbender and the Legend of Korra to life. We get a wealth of game modes with story, arcade, offline and online play, training, spectator mode, art gallery, and much more. The story allows us to shape the fate of time and space in the main story mode, then dive into arcade runs featuring unique storyline for each and every playable character. Online play will be based off of rollback netcode, and there will be crossplay across all modern platforms as well as PC. As mentioned, Avatar Legends will launch across all modern day consoles including PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, as well as PC, and will be going for around $30 for the standard version and around $40 for the deluxe. Our next game is another anime single player RPG that was actually first supposed to be a gacha, but the devs decided to go full premium, a once-off purchase, and remove all the gacha slop to give us Dragonsword Awakening. From combat, map layouts, art style, and UI, you can clearly see this was supposed to be a gacha to the likes of Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. Similarly, you'll swap between characters in combat, unleashing combos and synergizing on swap-ins. You get a total of 19 heroes that possess distinct status ailment abilities, and these stack with your active skills, chaining devastating combos with what they call signal skills for an exhilarating combat experience. It seems to be built around a robust story with depth behind each character and even NPCs as you venture along the main campaign. Dragonsword Awakening launches on PC on the 23rd of July and will be around $30. Sweet, well that is the end of kind of our core list, but a few honorable or quick fire mentions to end off the video. For me, has to go first one to Palworld. Will be launching on the 10th of July. We finally are getting 1.0, the end of early access. A plethora of new pearls, new zones, and the end of the original campaign will all be available on launch. So I'm looking to dive into that with my mates, definitely going in there on a fresh run. And then the games that I definitely will be checking out this month. We have the Mound, Tears of Metal, Dinoblade, which I'm so looking forward to, as well as Palworld. I might even sneak in a little bit of Black Flag there, but to be honest, I'm not really rushed to play that. It's something that, look, it'll always be there. I'm not going to be missing out on too much multiplayer action there with my mates. You know, everyone likes to be kind of on the game on launch, especially those co-op ones, which I think are going to be taking a lot of my time on stream. So check out YouTube, my YouTube, obviously, at the RoboHobo, twitch.tv/RoboHobo for streams. And if you enjoyed the video, if you made it this far, please drop a like, subscribe. I'll be popping out some more information on these games that I do play throughout July. So keep a lookout. Of course, that notification bell to avoid missing any future videos. Thank you, soldiers. Enjoy.